Once again, we're rethinking how we flow our money. That is very, very key here. All right, this family, in their savings account right now, they have $5,000. Their current income is $7,500 a month. Their expenses are $6,500 a month. And out of that, $2,000 is their mortgage. So $4,500 is their expenses for everything besides their mortgage, their gas, their car insurance, their groceries, right? Their miscellaneous, their kids stuff, all of that, $4,500, which leaves them then with a cash flow of $1,000 a month that they have that wiggle room. Now, many people feel like they're living paycheck to paycheck, even when they have stuff left over, because if we don't have a plan for this money and a plan for where it's going to go and have a flow for it, then probably like me that I felt for a long time, I could look back and say, I have no idea where that money went. It just flew out of my hands, right? So we're going to intentionally use this money for our benefit. And I'm going to show you here, okay? This is the credit card we're going to focus on. This is the only debt I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to focus on the mortgage, other credit cards, different things. We're just going to try to pound out. And I want to just show you how you can quickly, rapidly pay off a credit card without making more money, without working a second job, okay? That should excite you. Because literally, if you just learn how to flow your money differently, I'm telling you, just watch this unfold here, okay? So their current credit card debt on one credit card that they have that we're going to focus on attacking today has an $8,500 balance on it, okay? Their full limit is $12,000, so they have a little bit of a spread there of some availability. And I want you to remember that when we have some spread there, we can say, you know what, that can become my emergency fund right there. I have some spread in there. Oops, my dog, she's wanting out. Go ahead, Wrigley, go. Okay, sorry, a little door here, and she pushes it when she wants in and out, so it's the barn door kind of stuff. Okay, anyway, back to the video here. All right, so $8,500 balance, they have an interest rate of 22%. That means their average, their monthly minimum payment. Now, I just did a video a little bit ago on minimum payments, and that's how we're programmed to think, okay? The banks only want us paying the minimum amount because this is going to keep us in a cycle where this same credit card, if we just pay the minimum, could literally take 20 plus years, y'all. 20 plus years if we just get in that habit of I'm just going to pay the minimum. Okay, we don't get anywhere. It's like we're on that hamster wheel, and no wonder we can't ever feel like our money is being used for things we want. It's just going to the bank and funding their whole system, okay? We're breaking that script on this channel. We are flipping it, and we're beginning to see how can my money start to work harder for me without me working harder for it. So freeing, y'all. Okay, so I want to just quickly go over how the monthly interest is calculated. So on a credit card, okay, there you have $12,000 available, but they're going to figure your interest, how much interest you pay that month based on your outstanding balance, which is $8,500 times, this is how we're going to figure your daily average balance, okay? That's how much they're going to charge you that month. So they're looking at how much do you have withstanding, how much is out. $8,500 I have out on this credit card at a 22% rate. We take that and we divide it by 365 days in a year. And that becomes $5.12 a day times 31 days. We're in the month of January. So how much of that $241 is going to interest only is $159. So that means that is very little, under $100. You're paying $241, and not even half of that is going to pay down your balance. This is why we feel stuck, y'all. This is why we're stuck in the cycle of never, ever paying off our debt. Because the majority of our payment is going to the bank, to interest. They love for us to just pay the minimum payment. So I'm going to show you today what happens when we do not just pay the minimum payment and we begin to flow our money. We begin to revolve it and have it work for our benefit, okay, for our benefit. So let's look at this. This is where we're rethinking here. Open up your mind, okay? Open up your mind here. We are going to take our $8,500 credit card balance. Now, this is the big game changer here. We are going to take that $8,500 balance and we're going to take our income, okay, minus the mortgage. I don't want the mortgage to be included in there because, $2,000 mortgage payment. I want that to just stay in the checking account. So, it's just going to be easier than putting it into the credit card. So we have $5,500 a month that we pay all of our other expenses with, that we can pay on a credit card, like our food, our gas, our car insurance. Anything you pay, most of those daily expenses can go onto a credit card. So we are going to take our $5,500 income. We're going to leave the $2,000 in the checking account for here, okay? This example. And we are going to dump, we're going to flow this income when it comes in, okay? We are going to put it into that credit card. We're going to put it right into the credit card there. So, let's do it like this. We're going to put it right into the credit card, okay? Now, I'm just using somebody who's getting paid, okay, one time a month here in this example. If you're getting paid, 2 times a month, then every time you get paid, you could decide, okay, if my mortgage payment is due on the 10th of the month and I get paid on the 10th, then half of my paycheck might stay in there for the mortgage payment. It just depends, how much you're making, what your mortgage payment is, but you'll want to leave that amount in your checking account when you're using your credit card to pay down a credit card like this, okay? If we have a home equity line of credit or a personal line of credit, we would flow things a little differently. But I'm just trying to keep the numbers here easy to work with. That's why I'm just dumping the whole income here at once. I'm really wanting you to see the principle of this. I don't want to get so hung up on all the numbers and are they perfect, because I'm going to tell you I'm not a perfect person. I probably have some math errors and things like that. I'm really trying to teach you a new principle here, okay? A new principle. How to think differently about your money. A new way to think about it, okay? So just keep that in mind here. We're looking at the bigger picture here. These, how we flow money in and out might be a little different based on when you get paid. Okay, so we're dumping that entire income for that month into the line of credit, into this credit card. Now look at that $8,500 balance. We just dumped $5,500 in there, meaning our new current balance is $3,000 in one transfer. Just literally not having our money sit in the bank working for them. We're moving it to work for us. This is mind blowing. This is just watch what happens here, okay? So now I have a $3,000 balance on that credit card. But you're going to say, Amanda, but I have my expenses, right? Yes, I know. So that's where we're going to take all of our expenses that we can put on a credit card, your food budget, your kids' clothing, school supplies, whatever you need to put on there, okay? You're going to run that through a credit card, through this credit card. And then this is the other thing that I want you to get. When we dump that big chunk of income into the credit card, guess what you just did for that month? You satisfied that monthly payment. So we are able to deduct that from our expenses that were $4,500. We are now able to take out that $241 payment, and our new expense line is $4,259. And then I did the same equation here, right, to figure out how much daily interest. Remember, the bank is only going to charge you, or the credit card company is only going to charge you for the average daily balance. So since we're dumping our income on there, it's not going to be figured on this full $8,500 anymore. So I just kind of took an average. Okay, it's not exact or anything like that. All these numbers are going to vary based on your specific situation. But that would be an interest payment of about $93 versus the $159 just for dumping that in there. And we lowered our expenses for that month because that satisfied that monthly payment. Okay? So stick with me here. Now the new balance is $7,352 once I added my expenses back in. So now we're at month 2 here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to take that $5,500 and we're going to flow it into that credit card balance, into that credit card, which now brings that balance down to $1,852. We do that same cycle again. All of our expenses come back out. We have an average balance now about $90 because it's getting less each month. So our new balance in 2 months of doing this, 2 months of doing nothing different, not working an extra job, not stressing more. All we did was start dumping our income into this credit card. Already after 2 months, that $8,500 balance is down to $6,201, guys. Just let that sink in. I've done nothing different but flow my money differently. Okay, so now we're starting month 3. Same thing, we dump that income in. Our income comes into checking. We don't let it sit there. We put it to work for us. We put it in that credit card. Okay, now my balance, if I just took that down, it's $700. $700 on that credit card. Now, yes, I have my expenses and I have the interest, so that takes it up to $5,009. But here's where a decision can be made. If my balance right now is $701, and let's say I have another credit card, at this point, I might just pay some of my income in to pay this off. And guess what? After month 3, y'all, after month 3, this credit card can be done. And then I would take that income minus the 701, and I would go start chunking down my credit card number 2. And I would run that same system. Just let this sink in. And this is also without even touching our savings, because there is a way with this that maybe right off the get-go, you get this down to $3,000, you take your $5,000 that's just sitting there earning you pennies, and you get it flowing for you. You take $3,000 out of your savings here, okay? And you flow that into here. Guess what? That's paid off in month 1 now. And you would still have $2,000 in savings. This is the other thing I want you to grasp for this, you guys. I want you to know that if I would have just taken, my checking account, okay? Because you might say, why am I doing all of this, right? This seems like a lot of work. But we know if we just, like loans, for example, when things are not revolving, that's why we really want to get revolving lines of credit instead of loans. Okay, not a home equity loan. If you've been watching some of my videos and you're thinking of using some of your equity, do not get a loan, because that's where they're going to figure it on an amortized basis. So if you get a $50,000 loan, they are going to take that entire $50,000 and charge you interest on that amount. Where what's different with a line of credit, they're only going to charge you simple interest on the amount you have out. And I'll do more videos on this, because amortized loans versus simple interest loans are way different, but we're not trained to understand how, the simple interest lines of credit might have a higher, like 14 or 10% interest rate on a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, but a home loan on a home equity loan might have a 6%, but see, the way that they figure that interest is not for your benefit when you take out a loan. So we want to avoid the loans. We want to begin to leverage the revolving lines of credit, because now this is what's key here. When we dump our income into here, and let's say we did this system, and after month 3, we decide to be done and go start working on number 2, guess what we still have access to over here? We still have access to that $12,000. If we ever need it for an emergency, or something comes up, or I want to go on vacation, or I want to do something different. Now when we begin to learn this method, it begins to open up and allow you to breathe and not say, I feel like I'm living paycheck to paycheck. It helps you leverage, okay? I always want to emphasize on this. This is for the disciplined person. This is for the person who is sick and tired of being sick and tired. They are motivated. They are driven. They want to flow their money differently. They're not looking just to take this and go, once I get this, just to go, spend it and rack back up debt and go buy the Louis Vuitton. And not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying is, it does take discipline, because it could go the wrong way if you aren't disciplined and you're not flowing your money to work for you. Okay, so just always a caveat there. Please be disciplined. Please know your numbers. You have to know your numbers. You have to know how much cash you have. You have to know your expenses. Have to be organized in this stuff. Okay, so I hope that brings you some hope today. Continue to watch. I want this channel to be educational, and I have so many more things to teach and tons of resources. And I just want you to feel hopeful. I want you to know that there are options. You are never too far gone. There is always a way out of whatever situation you're facing, especially with money. Just have to start rethinking and reflowing how we use it.